HooHooHooRobin.
Got Anthony Bourdain outside the studio. He's a big star. That's Anthony Bourdain.
Yes, indeed. There he is.
Hey, sir.
Hi, sir. Here, take a seat.
I'm telling everyone you're a big star and getting bigger by the day.
See him all over the television.
I love the promo for your new show, Parts Unknown, coming to CNN, where you're just kind of hanging out on the rowboat. It looks like a little rowboat in the middle of like the Amazon or something. Just taking it all in casually.
Off the record, it's a rock quarry in Atlanta.
Oh,
that's it.
I hired some guy with.
Is it really?
Man, that looks
I
really.
swear to God, I'm like, wow, where is this amazing place?
That looks
we're on,
treacherous.
right?
Pardon?
You know we're on the air.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, this is how we start.
He's like, whoops.
Also, you just gave us
A
an
rock
exclusive.
quarry in Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah, that's where it was.
Wow, they pulled it off. It looks like a faraway land.
Yeah. I just got back from Libya and Tangier, and Libya was a trip.
Off the record, it was Jersey.
It was Newark.
It was a very, very, very tense shoot, and we
Really?
security was an issue, and we arrived just in time for the British government to say, no sensible person should be here. There have been specific threats against Westerners, blah blah blah. So suddenly, our already kind of tense shoot becomes riding around with guarded by these militia dudes from Misrata, who were the sort of prime movers in the revolution, and it was an amazing experience. Other than the fact that we're driving around in these procession of cars filled with young men with automatic weapons and hand grenades rolling around on the floor.
Wow.
They were all guys who'd been playing PlayStation a year and a half ago. They were medical students in Montreal, shopkeepers, guys with IT jobs, just ordinary people who, when the revolution came unexpectedly and they realized, Jesus, we have a chance here to overthrow this son of a bitch, they all came back and all, became weapons specialists like overnight.
Huh.
And the weapons they put together, these guys are facing, Russian tanks with pickup trucks that they've sort of pimped out with homemade rocket launchers made out of PVC pipe, powered by with hair dryers as the trigger system.
Jesus.
Crossbows, big crossbow, Molotov cocktail launchers.
Just before or after Benghazi went over there?
Just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. You had balls. You took over there after that happened?
He just got back.
I didn't realize if it was just got back a couple months ago.
Wow. The mood there. Look, there were a lot of people trying to put together a country from nothing. They had no plans to have a revolution. They thought they'd be stuck with this guy for 40 years.
Yeah.
Overnight, it became clear, wow, this might happen. So, there are no traffic cops in Tripoli. It's people, volunteers, young kids in camo pants, trying to run a country. They know that there's going to be a lot of problems and a lot of shit going on they're saying like probably 5 years, maybe even 10 years to get their act together, but they want it, by and large. Believe it or not, Libya, Tripoli, our first night there, the main square, Martyr Square, was filled with like Libyan skater boys, hipsters, inline skaters, kids throwing fireworks around, guys doing donuts on
Troy
motorcycles.
Mohammed Kwan.
Why pretty inspiring.
Wow.
Why do they hate Westerners? Because Westerners kind of helped. Why would they say that it's not a good place for Westerners when Westerners kind of helped get Gaddafi overthrown?
There, at the end of the revolution, there were these massive amounts of arms just laying there. I mean, literally, you want a AK-7, you want a rocket launcher, the whole army has just been gone to seed. So, it is a neighborhood where there are bad people who would like to hurt us, clearly. And they're very aware of it, and they're trying to deal with the problem as best they can, considering they got this sort of, fledgling, not particularly together government. There are people there who hate us and would do us harm. There are people who run around with guns with all sorts of agendas. But by and large, everyone I spoke to there, they said, we don't want Western money. We don't want Western control. We just want we have oil. We like our place at the table, like Europe. They use Europe as an example a lot. So I got a lot of thumbs up. If we said we were CNN, people would say CIA, and they put their thumb up.
Oh God!
People were very, very, very cool with us.
And we ask you this every time you're in, and you're just not scared in that situation?
I've lived a long and productive life. I'm not a particularly heroic guy. I don't want to, I don't want anybody, nailing my nutsack to a chair, particularly.
What gets you through that?
It was really exciting. Who gets to go to a country right after one of the worst dictators in most maniacal dictators in history has been toppled, and see something like this where it's really
talking 2016.
It's kids. It's like imagine the kids who grew up at the mall got to overthrow a government and figure out how to run a country. It's it's an historic moment for me. It was like the Spanish Civil War, but the good guys won.
Right.
Any threat?
Yeah.
You come across anything that you went like, oh boy,
or uncomfortable, like just strongly uncomfortable?
You're very aware that there are bad things going on around you. Getting in and out of the car. You're riding there in a car full of weapons, where nobody has a uniform and there's no cops. No, I mean. No, actually, it was pretty inspiring.
Were you packing a piece?
Nah, going full Geraldo, like I'm walking around.
Yeah, with the friggin' gun. Remember that, Geraldo? Yeah. I am armed, just in case.
I mean, there was
what a dramatic ass he really is.
An over-dramatic douche.
You were aware of where the weapons in the car were in a worst-case scenario.
Yeah.
But nobody, I think that would be considered even worst-case scenario that having something bad happen is, the on-camera talent starts popping off.
Yeah.
No.
Are you excited? You're excited to be joining CNN, huh?
I am.
You're going to do real well there.
I'm having a lot of fun, and they've let me do whatever I want. We shot in Burma so far. We shot a really kooky show in L.A. that pretends that no one but Korean Americans exists in L.A. It's shot entirely in Koreatown from the point of view of Koreans. So we've been doing some really trippy, really interesting shit, and most importantly, we've been getting to go to really interesting places like Libya and Burma that we never, ever would have been able to do.
And the gist of it is just looking at different cultures and whatnot?
It's all about me having a good time.
All right. That's good.
Yeah. He just moved over to another network.
Gotcha.
I found that if you show up at a place like Libya where you're not presenting yourself, I'm here to report the hard news. Let's talk about Benghazi. I'm there. That if you show up and say, look, I'm just interested in what do you guys eat and drink and have, what do you do for fun? People are lower their defenses and tell you a lot of things that they might not tell.
Well, with that said, because I'm a big fan of all the shows you've done over the years, what do they like to drink in Libya?
Well, they don't. They do.
They don't really.
It's a Muslim country, so you cannot buy beer. All the major beer guys have non-alcoholic beer there.
Oh wow.
It's called no fun beer.
Every once in a while, you will bump into somebody who has something called boca in their pocket, which is a quite good moonshine.
Yeah.
So some people over there, kind of skating the rules.
Every once in a while, people will.
You think when they develop this new country, though, they'll start escaping more of the rules, or they're going to stay traditional?
I think they're going to have to find a balance between people who are, very traditional, very devout, and people who are absolutely, and most of the people I spoke to, absolutely committed to having a secular government. Whether or not you go to the mosque 5 times a day or not, they would like their government more or less to be along secular and European lines.
Gotcha.
Were there any nice hotels or anything like that there?
Yeah, there was a brand new Marriott that's unoccupied. They built it at an awkward time. We stayed at a major chain. I stayed at the Angelina Jolie suite in Misrata, which was sort of kooky.
Oh, look at you.
And yeah, it was something I did consider,
It's nice.
Should I sniff this sheet?
Exactly. Sleep on the toilet.
I'll tell you that she's got stones. She was there like a year earlier, and Misrata is no picnic. It was like,
wow, man.
Where's Misrata?
It's about a few hours away along the coastline from Tripoli.
So you have much more access because of CNN. They just know how to get you in and out of these places where the other channel wouldn't.
They report from places like that, so they have fixers and contacts, and they're not afraid of that because they're look. It was hard doing what I was doing, and I'm not out there with people actively shooting at me. Like there's CNN guys who've been reporting from like Anbar province for years. So if anything, it's exhausting to live in a high security situation for a week. But most of these CNN guys have been doing this for years.
Yeah.
They must blend in, though, no?
Battle weary.
There's no blending in when you're, with a camera crew.
Oh, well, good point.
Anybody with a cell phone is 15 minutes away from calling their buddies, so...
Doesn't everybody in the world know CNN, though? They kind of, I guess, everyone in the world knows that they're
sort of leave them alone a little more?
Yeah, I'm assuming so. You don't hear about a lot of CNN guys getting attacked, do you?
A lot of journalists, a huge number of journalists have been killed in the last few years. Like, we're well, I think we're close to 200.
The bullet doesn't discriminate, Jim.
No, but I mean, but it seems like CNN can go places that a lot of other people would not be able to go. And for some reason, that camera crew, they'll talk to you.
Stuart Harrington, the journalist who did Restrepo, who was just killed in...
that's fucked up.
I'm not sure, was it Misrata or Benghazi a while back?
Was he targeted, or was it one of those things where he was just in the wrong place, wrong time?
Wrong place, wrong time. But...
I know in Syria they killed that woman. They wanted to kill her. I forget her name. She had lost an eye.
Yeah. Well, she'd been at it for years and years and years and years in really dangerous places. And
how do you
finally caught up?
So for me, it was a picnic.
Right. We're
a little distracted because the Pope is resigning. Did you see this yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason we bring it up is this has never really happened before.
Yeah. Why does the Pope have to resign?
From 14, last time was 14-17 this happened.
14-15, yeah.
14-15.
Because they want somebody younger and much more able to be to address scandal or to address anything. Like the old guys just aren't able to lead the church in bad times.
You want a Pope that could Skype.
Yeah.
You want a Pope that knows
with a Twitter account.
Yes. Right.
He just started tweeting.
The Dalai Lama has a Twitter account.
I know.
Yeah. Does he follow anybody?
No, he doesn't. Of course not.
He was goofing on the Grammys last night. The Dalai Lama. Yeah, just tweet along. Hashtag Grammy. Great. He's a fun guy.
Is he fun?
Oh, he's hilarious.
We saw him. Yes. We were in an elevator with the Dalai Lama.
Very cool.
Me and Anthony. Yes, we were.
He's actually a pretty good guy. From interviews I've seen with him and stuff, he's kind of chuckling. He has a good time with himself. We were as the Chinese try to, destroy him.
We went down to Atlanta for a radio job, and we were at the Ritz-Carlton. And we walk in the elevator, and it's us and the Dalai Lama. And I think one of his guys, right?
Yeah. He's always got a security guy with him.
How fucked up is that?
Before I forget, I want to thank Jim for doing the roast a little back, man. It was funny as hell.
I heard it was great.
You're welcome. It was fun.
Tonight.
Yeah.
It was very... I didn't eat, though. I should have eaten. There's so many good chefs
Everybody's eating, and we're up there, sitting behind the dais. That was we got the butt end of the deal there, but it was. I got off easy, I thought.
How did Guy Fieri hold up?
I sat next to Guy, actually.
Rock and roll.
He got a beating.
Stream. He got a beating.
Yeah. Good.
Mario got a beating.
Yeah. Gilbert killed Mario.
Did he? Yeah. Oh man.
Him.
You don't want Gilbert getting
Yeah. He got into one of his Gilbert loops. He's so fat, and he just did. Mario is so fat. Mario Batalia's so fat. He just wouldn't stop.
He kept coming back, and the fact that the repetition ended up.
It just makes it funnier and funnier. Yeah.
Because then he would stop, and then it would just be Mario, and then so people were already laughing.
You were awesome.
Thank you.
I thought Rachel Ray had the line of the night.
What'd she say?
She said, "You gotta love it." She's talking about marriage. She's gotta love Mario Batali. Any guy who'll lend you his scrunchie, you're giving him a BJ.
Shit.
I thought that was.
Bonnie was great.
Bonnie
was fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there with my agent and my publisher, and I said, "We gotta sign this woman up. We gotta get this woman to write a book. She's unbelievable, and so we're hoping to do a book with her."
Yeah, she was hilarious.
She's hilarious.
Wow.
Killed.
Artie was on. Who else was on that? Fucking.
She's like a speedboat with a giant cruise ship anchor holding her down.
Rich Voss, her husband.
We're friends with them.
Yeah. She's really being held down by a dumbbell.
Well, we're hoping to publish your memoirs if everything goes well.
Wow. Very cool.
Amazing life.
Hey, and you got the big show on ABC, too. We should promote The Taste.
Yep. A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Do you come up with sorry to interrupt. Did you come up with these, or did someone say, hey, do you want to do it? Because you're really active, man. He's always got something happening.
With The Taste, they came along. These are people I knew who do big network shows, and they came along and asked if I was interested in a big, noisy, flashy studio network production, something I'd never done before. But I was able to get in at the ground floor, help develop the idea, pick who else was on the panel with me, pick the guest mentor chefs, and I'm wary. It seemed like the dumbest, most out of character thing I could possibly do, which frankly had an appeal for me. Somebody says to you, I got an F4 Tomcat, jet, you want to fly it off this carrier deck? And it's like, okay, I don't know how to fly it.
Yeah, but it sounds fun.
It's probably a really bad idea, but somebody's just handed me the keys to this massive jet plane.
Right.
You're kind of
obligated to do it.
It's an irresistible impulse.
Yes.
And in the end, I travel for 10 years now. I've been traveling like 250 days a year. So the prospect of waking up in the same bed in L.A. for a month, 2 months in a row, commuting to work and working with friends. I mean, I love Nigella Lawson and Ludo are really good friends. So it was really fun experience.
Good for you.
I do it again in a hot second. I'm hoping to do it again.
And it's one lousy spoonful.
When you do 60 of those in a day, it's
oh really? Really?
Yeah, but it's really great. I mean, the set is like the end of a Bond film. It's like the inside of a volcano.
Right.
So what exactly is the show? What do we do it justice? What
it's
exactly
pretty much a lot of up and coming chefs, right?
Oh, okay.
It's a blind. Basically, the producers did a nationwide casting call. So they get they narrow it down to 60 people, okay? And of course, sprinkled in there people who are they're interesting, and they're hoping that we, then the 4 judges, we basically choose our teams based blind on spoonfuls, and then you find out afterwards who you've picked for your team.
Right.
I ended up picking 4 very attractive women.
Really?
Which, I had absolutely no... Which is what's interesting. You assume certain things from this mouthful of food. Okay, it's going to be, if it's a barbecue, somehow you have these gender associations. Oh, it's going to be some dinty Moor-looking motherfucker in there. But I ended up with 4 really smart, really good cooks. Feisty would be an understatement. And then every week, once you selected your teams, we have a guest mentor comes in. There's a challenge. There's a team challenge, and it basically at the end of the day, we have to evaluate these spoons and send somebody home not knowing who they are, whether they're on our own team.
Oh, no kidding.
So it can lead to humiliation and pain.
Oh, so you could send home one of your own team people.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
it happens all the time.
That's kind of a different angle.
Yeah. Yeah, there's very few things you can actually do that with singing, you'd recognize the voice. I mean, that's one of the only things you can do it with.
What's weird is we don't know if there's a heart-rending backstory,
Right,
cancer survivor, and we don't know that. We've already decided you're going home. I quit my job. It's awful. I feel like
some sad sack, and you just
no,
out the door.
I look like I sent home, some nice Jewish grandmother from New Jersey the other day, and it was like, I'm looking at the show, and I'm like, oh man, I'm the worst person in the world. You don't like my kugel, and I'm like, oh jeez,
my
kugel is terrible. What is? I've had it once.
Not
it's
a fan of
awful.
The kugel. At the Brooklyn Diner.
It's like eating
noodle kugel, right?
And Brooklyn Diner has great food.
What is kugel? What is
I don't like kugel.
It's a search engine for old broads that want young guys.
That was a good one.
That's better than a real answer. Fuck it.
Yeah, I didn't really bring anything to the table with that. I just asked what it was.
I kind of want to know I kind of want to know what kugel is, because any noodly dish I usually like. That one I don't like.
Are you surprised with? It's amazing, what interest people have in cooking. It's a popular thing, but the last 10 years, chef show, anything with a chef or with cooking is fucking massive.
Look, I'm happy about it.
Right.
My feeling is the more the better. For years, the chefs and cooks were the backstairs help. Nobody cared. Nobody ever gave a shit. The chef thinks you should have this. I don't care what the chef thinks.
Whatever.
I'd like a steak and I'd like a baked potato. So, the extent to which chefs can now kind of suggest you or get you to eat what they themselves think is good and what they know they're good at, I think it's good. Chefs actually do something. They do something good for the world. They produce food. So, to see chefs, even chefs I don't particularly like, putting down a nice score, hey, I'm all for it.
What does a chef need to make the jump between just being a good chef and being a good chef on TV? Because there are a few on there, and they're compelling.
Being a sociopath helps.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely. It's funny because most chefs got into the business originally because they sucked at communication. They had serious personality disorders. They sensed in themselves that they were uncomfortable, doing anything but hiding in a kitchen and preparing food or managing others who prepare food. So it's been a steep learning curve for a lot of people, and clearly some people are good at it and some people just are not, have a very hard time talking about this.
Well, I think you had, obviously Julia Child early on.
Yep.
Coming up, and she was like really the first one on television.
Mm-hmm.
And then people remember who's that Cajun guy?
Oh yes, the
Cajun guy that used to
chef from Apocalypse Now,
Justin Wilson.
Yes. Mangoes.
Yeah,
associate
Justin Wilson, and then all of a sudden you started getting Emerald would come out, and he has a little catchphrase. And
Emerald was a groundbreaking figure because he was the first real chef.
Right.
With real restaurants, professional, to become widely loved. And I think what was also important about Emerald is that he was so kind of awkward and, not TV friendly initially.
Yeah.
And that really communicated to people.
It was kind of fun to watch. Do you remember a gentleman, the Frugal Gourmet?
Oh, God.
Yeah, wasn't he like a rapo?
Yes.
Was he really?
Yes, it turned out that here's the story. He was getting sued by some
former
man,
altar boy, somebody. He was a minister.
Yes,
and there were allegations.
Yes, when he was younger, this guy, when this one guy was younger, he said that the Frugal Gourmet was trying to come on to him. And,
wow.
And I'm not saying I followed him on book tour. Every time I go on book tour, I always ask the media escort. I said, okay, who's the worst, most miserable, uncontrollable son of a bitch you've ever driven around? It's always fun to find out who's the real kick-out. Unanimous, Frugal Gourmet.
Really?
Horrifying. I mean,
really?
The stories of alleged projectile vomiting, and just huge drinking, bad behavior, making out with his assistant in the back of the car in middle of Bible country.
I love it. What a creep.
I mean, absolutely, fucking Dr. Lecter scale.
Yeah. Because he came across on the show as a caring guy, and then all these allegations started coming out.
That's great. Well, the original show was the Frugal Cunt, and they're like, that'll never sell.
You really need to
soften it a little bit.
Not a good guy.
So he wound up dying.
Oh, he's dead?
I think he's dead.
Did he go to jail for some of these allegations, or did he escape?
He pled out or made a settlement.
There was a deal.
A settlement involved, I believe.
There was a deal that went on or something.
But to the best of my knowledge, he was like a huge, gaping, steaming asshole.
That's why I love when Bourdain comes in.
Who knew?
Tells it like it is. What else are you going to be doing for CNN? You're going to do a little, not just the show, right?
No. Just
You'll be a pundit?
No, I mean,
no one wants to hear your views on.
I thought you said you would do a little of that.
If there's a food-related story, chances are they're going to call me up. Cottage cheese crisis.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to be.
But I can see
election results or.
No, but I could see you easily sitting in for Piers or somebody easily.
Yeah, I could see that.
Easily.
Yeah, you could. No, you got that kind of personality. You could definitely sit down.
Sit down and talk to some of these people.
Can you be a completely pompous asshole like Piers?
Oh, that's his coworker.
Sorry, that's his coworker.
Whoa,
that's all right.
Hey.
That's like saying, that's like us sitting here and saying, the broad down the hall's got giant feet.
I did a talk show format. We did an experiment years ago on No Reservations where we did a special episode. It was like a talk show format where I assembled, 4 opinionated people. I sucked so bad.
Really?
Talk show format as interviewer, host. I was lucky to not be tarred and feathered. I would have led the posse, actually.
Really?
I'm surprised by that.
I was really, really bad.
What'd you do bad? What was harder about than you thought?
All of it. Everything's hard.
Really?
And I just sucked. I didn't see it at the time. Afterwards, it was like, oh, geez, oh, man.
The best way to run a talk show is when you want someone to talk, you do this. You clap and you point at them.
That could be your thing.
That works.
You know how quickly that would get so annoying?
Yeah, you throw around a topic. So, let's talk about whatever the topic is. The Pope's retiring. Last point.
Oh, would that be
I've
horrible?
achieved a career mountaintop in my life. I will be on Archer this week.
Really?
Yes, it's pretty much it's all downhill from here. I will be playing the part of Bastard Chef on
You will?
the upcoming Archer. Yeah.
Do you get to say bad words?
I get to say reasonably bad words.
Reasonably bad. Yeah, it is on FX.
You know, I was a huge I was at Comic-Con and I'd done Aisha Tyler's podcast, and I told her I'm a huge geek fan, and I somehow gained like backstage access at the Archer panel, and I was like, the creepy fanboy, hanging around. Got any work for me? I'll work for free. Can I write for you guys? Can I do something? I wanted to write for the show, and I volunteered to do it for free, and I basically hung around until
they offered you something.
Until they offered me something, but they wrote a big part. And so
that's cool.
What is Archer? I've never seen. I've heard of it.
No way.
Never seen it.
Oh,
it's on FX.
And it's an animated series about a mom, a secret agent with mom problems, and a lot of poop jokes, ass jokes.
Oh, cool.
It's filthy and really, really funny.
Yeah, I think it's on before Legit. Right?
What's Legit?
Jim Jeffries' new show.
Oh, okay.
Our pal Jim Jeffries does Legit on FX.
What are you doing? Yeah.
And you're going to be speaking at the NRA. Is it the official convention?
The
featured speaker at the
Restaurant Association.
Oh, that's hilarious!
It's a little different than National Rifle Association.
Yes.
I see NRA here.
National Restaurant Association.
I want to ask you about. I'm like, that's interesting.
It's gonna be. It's not quite the same thing. If they want my cannoli, they'll have to fry it. Whatever.
That's hilarious. They call it National Restaurant Association. A little different is right.
Yeah, it's basically what I do. I do about 40 times a year.
No, I thought you were going to talk about guns somewhere.
Like stand up,
right?
Essentially.
Yeah.
I just played Vegas Saturday night.
Ooh.
First casino gig.
You actually did a stand up gig?
Well, me and Eric Repair actually. It's funny.
Is he funny?
Yes, he is actually. Yeah.
What do? You guys go on together, or does one go on first? Then how do you work that?
I interrogate him first. I put him under an incredibly uncomfortable. I put him in an incredibly uncomfortable folding chair under a naked spotlight and brutally interrogate him because, there's a lot he really can't say. He runs a restaurant where he can't talk shit about people. He has to be diplomatic and measured about things. So his discomfort is very, very funny. And then he does the same to me, and it went over. Look, Vegas. You wouldn't think two chefs up there talking would work, but it went over really well.
Good for you.
That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
What restaurant does he work? I'm so out of that world. I hear he's amazing.
Bourdain. It's one of the greatest restaurants in the world.
Really? Yeah. It's in New York?
Yes, it is indeed.
Yeah, I heard he's very good.
Oh my! I've been. What's the best sushi joint in New York again? I told Roland to get a hold of your people because I've been obsessing ever since you said it last time. Not the one at Time Warner where it's $2,000 a person or some ridiculous thing.
Yasuda would be fantastic.
Yasuda, that's the one you said.
Yasuda
I remember.
on East 43rd Street, and you want to go for lunch and you want to sit at the sushi bar.
How do you spell that?
Yasuda, and
why lunch?
Basically, you'll need only know one word. Just say omakase.
Yeah.
And they'll just start feeding you.
I hope that's fuck your mother.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll probably say it wrong.
That means urinate in my food.
They told me it meant...
Did we talk to him about the guy in L.A.?
Yeah.
We did last time?
Mm-hmm. Which guy?
Nizawa. He retired.
Yeah.
And he retired. He was looking a little old there, though, man. He's been making
like Tom Skerritt?
Yeah, just an old man hunched over fish.
Hunched
cranky.
over, really cranky, but an amazing experience. In a dumb little strip mall.
Yeah, just looking at dead animals all day, staring back up at him.
Yeah. Sounds like heaven to me.
Yeah, does it?
Did you ever go there?
No, but I mean, I love, that super old school, basically they throw you out if you ask for California roll kind of mentality. I like that.
Is that what kind of place this is that you're?
No, they're pretty. They're very cool.
Is it hard to get in there? I heard that place in Japan that's supposed to be the best
Jiro.
place.
What is it called?
Like we're going to be there. Jiro. If you've seen the film Jiro Dreams of Sushi, if you haven't seen it, please see it. It's amazing. It's a documentary. This guy's like 80 years old. He's been making more or less the same 35 cuts of sushi for his entire career, trying to get better and better and better at them. It's
what makes. How do you get better and better? After
that's
seems like the learning
it is
curve.
a quest for perfection, the right temperature, the right cut, the better rice. It is incredibly obsessive. And it's one of the greatest meals I've ever had in my life.
But they don't have. I like to dip it in sauce.
Oh, don't be doing that at your. You're pretty much. Yeah.
Is it hard to get a reservation there? I think like 6 months booked.
Very, very hard. There's 12 seats. It's.
But why is it so good? Besides that perfection thing, but after a while,
the best seafood available on the market, coming from people who won't even sell their stuff to most people because they don't think they're smart enough to understand it. It's cut perfectly. It's served, each fish is served at appropriate temperature and age, which makes a big, big difference. And the rice. The rice is a hugely important component of sushi. It's not just about the fish. It's 50% of the story is the rice. And this is a guy who is an absolute master. And, you pick it up and the rice is almost warm and still pillowy. And it is a sublime experience that will ruin you for sushi. I mean,
with your bare hands, you eat it.
If you're asking the question, what's the difference? You eat at a place like that, sushi at that level, and it pretty much you suddenly understand. It's like you've been driving a Yugo your whole life, and somebody just gave you the keys to a Ferrari, and after the first turn, you pretty much understand what you've been missing.
I'm becoming more and more of a snob. Yeah, I used to love sushi in general, but a lot of these places average at best.
Yeah,
isn't there a tuna that is not tuna, but that they pass off as tuna?
Look, there are unscrupulous people who will do all sorts of terrible things. But if you're eating all you can eat sushi, $9.99 for all you can eat, you can you're
I'm
not
a little
getting
better
the
than
best.
that.
Yeah, but I mean, there are
just down today.
There are substitutions.
There is, right?
They gas, like if it's that supernaturally bright red tuna, chances are if it's just eerily it's like psychedelic red. I think they gas that to
bring out some color.
Yeah, there's a lot of nonsense in lesser sushi, but
there's a sushi place near us.
I like it.
Their tuna doesn't seem like it's actually tuna, though.
All right.
Yeah, the color of it looks good.
If 50% of the people in the sushi bar are Japanese, you're probably doing well. If it's girls talking loud and shoving, sushi rolls bigger than their head, into their mouth, and drinking blender, sake caipirinhas.
sounds kind of cool to go there too, though.
Yeah,
every so often.
Yeah, but you're not going for the
pick up some broads.
Might pick up a broad or two, though.
No.
How do you pick up a broad in a sushi place?
I know, right?
How awful that must be to try to
tell
fuck
her she
them.
smells better than the food. Hey, it's a compliment, honey.
And if it's a good place, you don't really need the soy sauce, obviously.
Yeah, you don't.
Or
That's
a little
something
dip,
you
just a little
definitely
dip.
don't want to do at a really good sushi bar.
Just drown it.
The
I
chef
do.
is going to trying very hard to make it perfect. He's brushed a little sauce on. What they really don't want you to see is, you sit down before you've had your first piece, you pour the soy sauce in the bowl, you grab a big wad of wasabi and mix it up into a slurry, and then marinate your thing in there.
I dip it. Even when they say no soy, they'll go soy, no soy. I always take the no soy and just sneak it in like it was an accident on the way up. I'll scoop it.
There's a sushi joint me and Jimmy go every once in a while. He loves it. I hate it. I really don't like Gary's.
I love that place.
Gary's Sushi on Columbus Avenue near the museum.
And Japanese name is Gary.
Yeah.
Sushi of Gary. That place is awesome.
I don't like it.
Oh,
I don't know why.
It's a good place.
Yeah.
But you got to understand a little respect. Your sushi chef at a good place has spent 7 years. His master wouldn't let him just doing rice. Okay, between 3 and 7 years, meaning
I could do that in a weekend.
Wow.
His master wouldn't let him touch fish until he got the rice right, which took somewhere between 3 and 7 years. Sometimes.
That sounds
7 years
that's
for rice.
ridiculous.
Seriously.
I'd be like, look.
Yeah.
Look, what
else do I have to
from
do?
me? Yeah, this is perfect.
You're tearing a hunk out of the guy's heart when you basically take a big dump on his food, as he sees it.
You should see when I put peanut butter on it. Would that be a good sign if your sushi guy came over and he pulled your fish out of his pocket?
But 7 years just dealing with the rice.
You see, in Jiro Dreams of Sushi, there's a scene of his son who's 55, who he's his second, and he's still sitting out there on a little stool, pan toasting the seaweed every day. He's not trusted enough. He's not old enough. He's not good enough, according to his father, to like move up to the first station.
I was a Passover.
It's serious.
That's just a shitty father. Come on.
You're talking an artist. Well, look.
All right, fair enough.
I'm not that stupid. I'm smart.
Yeah.
I am smart. I wish I could do the accent, but I can't.
Oh, yes, you can. You just make a wacky.
Sanfredo. Okay.
Fredo-san.
What do you mean? You're eating blueberries, and what is that? Some kind of healthy
Vegetable juice.
Vegetable juice.
Yes.
What kind of den of iniquity have I
know, right?
It's beets and carrots and ginger and either
spinach?
Cucumber or spinach. Yeah.
A little spinach in there?
Yeah, it's called making up for 30 years of non-condom use. I'm in panic mode now.
What, do you want to cleanse? Is there some kind of...
No, I always eat this stuff. It's just figured
That's his morning ritual.
Cancer prevention and all that shit.
Jimmy lost a lot of weight. He's getting himself together there. So, what else there, Mr. Bourdain?
I don't know. Next,
I did want to ask one more thing. This Parts Unknown. When does it start? April. Okay. I feel like we've been talking about this show forever.
So well, look,
you're almost there.
We started shooting in October, and each show takes between 9 to 12 weeks to edit and post-produce. So we're constantly shooting, and at the same time, I'm writing and post-producing what we shot already. Headed off to Quebec in a few days, and then the Congo. Doing the whole speed, or you brought up Apocalypse Now, doing the whole up the river.
Wow, really?
The Congo.
That sounds cool.
Man.
In Cambodia?
No,
that's Congo. It's
Congo is Africa.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking Vietnam.
But like the whole, up a lazy river.
I'm thinking the Nung River.
A jungle river.
Yeah.
That's wow, that's crazy. But how many shots you got to fucking take before you go to Africa?
I'm up to date.
You're all up to date?
Oh yeah.
You must have had to get a few, right?
Oh, the first time I went out, it was just that they lined up this row of syringes.
Oh man.
Oh man, here we go.
Do you ever get sick from those shots? They ever like the flu might give you the flu for a while?
No.
You
really,
just slightly get smallpox.
Yeah.
Now you look.
What do you protect?
On our show is the things we don't want to get. Are the things that no shot will
Ebola.
Like what?
No, you don't want like guinea worm.
Ooh,
guinea worm is like a 5 foot long worm.
Yeah, it extorts all the other worms.
No, it gets worse.
He lives in an apple with marble floors.
Indigenous to Staten Island.
Yeah. 2 columns outside the hole.
Statue of a worm urinating on the front lawn.
It's 5 feet long and it travels around subcutaneously. You can watch it under your skin, moving around like a.
Wait, it comes in your foot, you said?
Yeah, and it travels around subcutaneously in your body, causing you all sorts of agony. And
how do you get it out?
Can't you hit it by punching? I'm sure you peel punch the wrong way.
In the past, I don't know what they do now. There are treatments, but I think you wait till its little head pops out and you roll it up on like a toothpick.
Oof.
Carefully, because you don't want to break the body.
Get the fuck.
Oh man!
Wait. How does it go in your foot?
Just burrows? Like worms, like flatworms. There are all sorts of little, you don't want those parasitic
How do you
invaders.
Hold on, though. This is my point. How do you not recognize a 5 foot worm entering your
I don't
body?
think it's 5 feet when it goes in.
All right.
Yeah.
It goes in as like an egg or a little thing on a broken part of your skin.
Either. I mean,
I will.
What?
It doesn't sound good.
I will acknowledge I just asked one of the stupidest questions ever. Thank you.
Like,
I'm
you
going to
put a
acknowledge
full-grown
that.
5 foot worm sneaked into someone's heel?
It's just like creeping up on you and goes into your foot.
So I will acknowledge that.
Which liver fluke?
It sounds like what
if his liver was
something
healthy.
that hatches.
That would be a fluke.
Something that hatches little baby flukes in your liver, which that doesn't sound good, right?
Holy shit, that doesn't sound good at all.
Bone break fever. You don't want that. That's pretty much
that?
essentially you become like a stale box of Triscuits. And it was like crunch. Your bones get really brittle.
What about that dengue fever thing?
Dengue is that happy. You haven't had it, but a lot of I met a lot of people who it's something you get if you live long enough in Africa. That's survivable.
Why don't we get this shit here in America? We've just figured this out a long time ago.
We're amazing.
You need a tropical and subtropical, environments, and you need to walk around, barefoot to get
in feces and all kinds of fun things like that.
Your feces.
I think it's bad. Yeah, bad hygiene, bad sanitation. Things like that. Bare feet, not a good
conditions.
Not good medical
but they can't figure out shoes
facilities.
Yet?
Well,
People
no.
are getting all this shit.
Look, they can't figure out, look, getting people clean water and protection against malarial or dengue mosquitoes.
Yeah. It's
just a matter of literally cost $1 for mosquito netting at night. You'd save millions of lives, and that's that simple, and yet that out of reach for a lot of people.
If you're in any country where the little kids are running around in Super Bowl champ San Francisco 49er shirts, there's probably some disease around. There's probably some disease and hunger.
You might be in a bad place.
You might be. Yep. If the kids is where... Yeah,
I'm always, I always see as a bad sign for some reason. I've been to a lot of roadblocks in the world where, it's like make your own militia. It's some kid in like camo pants with a clapped out.
Man.
That sounds kind of fun.
Clapped out camo pants, an old AK, and like a Tweety Bird shirt.
Yeah.
And I always figure,
frightening.
I'm going to die. This is how I'm going to die. It's going to be some guy with it wearing a Tweety Bird shirt. I'm going to look up. And
that's supposed to be just a nice memory.
Beep,
Yeah.
Where is
But you pay off those guys easy, right? They just want some money.
It depends. People are high at some of these things. I've been in early 2000s in Cambodia. The thing you did was you'd slow down your car, throw a whole bunch of packs of Marlboros out the window, and stomp on the gas. But sometimes some guys just having a fucking bad hair day, and
and you just happen to come along. Is Vietnam worth checking out?
Vietnam's totally awesome.
That's what everyone says.
Totally awesome. That would be #1 on my must-visit countries.
Damn.
Why?
Yeah.
Great food, great people, incredibly beautiful. Pro-American. They like Americans. They like showing Americans how good their food is, how beautiful
they kick their ass. They're all like, hey, how you doing there? They rattle your hair a little. Shuka, shuka. How you doing, kid? Everything's
what
cool
city
now.
would you go to?
I travel around. Saigon, Hanoi, Hoi An is amazing. It's a very diverse country. I mean, they have a lot of. It's not all jungle. It's a lot of different areas. There's an area that's very much kind of like the Alps.
Really
beautiful country.
Have you checked out? Sorry, Jimmy,
good.
one last question. Have you checked out the tunnels?
I didn't go. Yeah,
you probably wouldn't fit.
Yeah, it wouldn't fit.
Although I heard they made the tunnels bigger just so us fat Americans could fucking go and check them out.
What, where the VC used to hide?
But it was intricate, man. They
had hospitals.
It was unbelievable.
Little movie. You could watch movies under
right.
it.
Really?
R&R.
Yeah, they had it figured out.
They were living underground.
That was a motherfucker for our guys.
Within an hour of Saigon. Right in the heart of the South, and heart of enemy territory. Room for like a division of VC or visiting NVA. Under hidden away underground.
And it was all just dirt tunnels.
Yeah. Huge network
that opened up to big, like you said, there were hospitals and all sorts of shit down there.
Are you going to go to? And I don't know where this is. Where's Chocolate City in Africa? Isn't Africa where? It's where General Butt Naked is.
Oh, that's Liberia. I've been there.
Okay.
General Butt Naked. That's right.
From Book of Mormon.
Yeah, but he's a real guy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And he's. I know someone who met him, and one of our old bosses actually. Of course, met him and had photos with him and talked to him.
I think he's in the Parliament of Liberia now.
He's a preacher.
He's a preacher.
A religious preacher. And the guy I know asked him something about, because he would sacrifice children and eat their hearts.
Jesus.
And he asked him something about eating a heart, and he
he would not be the only guy to have done that. It's called Poro, and that's sort of their hidden bush religion. And that was a hardcore show. I got really badly poisoned in Liberia.
You did?
Really?
Oh, did you go near where he was?
Yeah.
Oh,
what got you?
Take your pick, spin
Baby heart.
I think it was everybody in the village eating out of one bowl situation.
What were they eating?
How do you do that?
Meat, whatever they had.
I love some good bush meat.
Poor, honored guest, and they're serving you what?
And they just call it bush meat, whatever they found.
Did it smell bad?
Oh, more to the point, there's not a lot of running water where I was. Hygiene is, catch can situation. You got, 10 people eating out of one bowl. One of those is going to be the bitch of the bunch.
I would hate that.
Wouldn't you? Yeah.
You violently vomited?
Oh, crawling around on my hands and knees, praying to every known religious figure. Please, God, kill me.
Holy shit.
An explosive, both ends.
Wow.
Horrifying,
For how long?
Delirium, the whole.
Wow,
thing.
man.
How long? A couple days?
Yeah, a couple of days.
So what, you just stop the shoot at that point and go, I gotta fucking just stay here and do nothing?
When you're laying there on the floor in a,
sweating your ass off.
Just, it made that first scene in Apocalypse Now, good. I was just really, really killed. You just want to die. You've been there.
I don't know if I've ever gotten food poisoning like that, though. Like, I've gotten it, but not to that point.
That's fucking international.
Liberian food poisoning is quite different.
That's bad. And it's a situation where when you finally feel well enough to stand up and maybe make it out the door of your room, you walk out and it's like 120 degrees, 100% humidity. It's like somebody punches you in the chest. So right away you're down on your knees again, crawling to the breakfast nook. That was difficult. That was a difficult.
And then you got to shoot and eat again as soon as you're able.
My first scene was like a beach party and surfing scene. I never. I'm out there laying on my board. It's I'm not. I can't make it past the first little wave. I would just lay there and groan.
What happened to you on an American Airlines flight? Crazy. Maybe have you talked about this already?
It was hardly the worst, plane story ever, but it was funny, and that, the usual situation. The gate agent standing there said, on time. The plane hasn't even arrived. Clearly there's a problem. Finally it arrives, and it's just sitting there. The voice, someone says, there is a special situation on, the flight that just arrived. A special maintenance situation. And finally turns out that somebody had apparently shat all over their seat. And
that's special.
And it took about an hour or two for them to figure out that this is a non-cleanable situation, that they had to take the whole
whole
plane out of they had to take the whole plane out of service.
What? Wow.
And bring in another plane.
They took a dump in their own seat?
I hope it was their own seat.
Wow.
It would be terrible if it's someone else's seat.
The coach passenger, they shit in first class.
It's airborne. I'm the directional event.
Wow.
They couldn't clean that shit.
Apparently not, but apparently it took them a long time to figure out, well,
I bet a lot of nooks and crannies. They got to get rid of every bit of that.
But it was interesting, the way they were struggling to describe the event.
Yeah.
Special maintenance situation, and then finally somebody blabs. Somebody says, some guy shot a big Cleveland steamer all
over.
Wow. What a great thing to do.
To
take a, how great your shit's got to be to take a plane out of service?
Yeah, your fucking shit is as powerful as a Stinger missile.
That is fucking awesome. That is awesome.
How many flights have you taken in your life? What do you guess?
Oh man, I've got well over 1 million miles.
So, yeah.
Each shoot is thousands. I don't know. Thousands. I mean, between the speaking gigs, 40 speaking gigs a year, other stuff, the 100, however, 16 no reservations, 10 layovers, a lot. With internal travel, and some of them on some very shaky, interesting airlines.
We've heard about it from Jonathan, a few of those.
Yeah, my manager flies a lot of them. He
flies a lot of those weird planes where they come on board with their chickens and goats. And you've seen those?
Just flew in. I was just in Colombia, and we were flying out into these old, what used to be, traffickers strips in the middle of the jungle. And the only way to get in and out and supplies for the village is these old World War II DC-3s, which were actually amazing. If you're a plane nut, you like old planes. These things are pretty amazingly maintained World War II cargo planes.
Tail dragger.
And they use them because they can land on dirt strips, and they don't need that much runway, because there isn't much runway. And these guys do this all the time. And you just, there's no seats. You just sit on top of a couple of cases of beer next to the chickens and pigs.
How long of a flight were you on that for?
It's like 2 hours, an hour, anywhere. It depends where they're going, but an hour, 2 hours, and back. It was actually a lot of fun. People, smoking, hanging out the hatch, very loose interpretation.
That is ballsy.
Yeah.
You're crazy. I would never do that shit. Never.
What was the worst flight? Did you ever have kind of a really scary situation?
We've had a lot of little private planes where the stall sign keeps going stall. It's whiteout weather. The whole crew's in there, shaking, and suddenly the little light goes stall, beep, 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 and you drop, and then its engine starts again, and this goes on for a while. We've had some wacky pilots, these like Vietnam dudes who are now running puddle jumpers in Africa or remote areas of, South America. They haven't seen Americans for a while, so they want to show you, how this baby handles. This is how we used to do it in Nam, man. It's like,
Why are you stalling, though? That would fucking scare me.
I was too busy clumping my teeth. It's really, and what might be the problem here? You try to ignore shit like that.
Right.
You don't want to be the guy in the disaster movies. What's going on?
It's embarrassing when it lands. It's only good if you actually crash for you to get upset. If it lands, you just look like an idiot.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that was the guy that lost his fucking shit on the plane.
Yeah, we've been on some pretty wacky planes, trains, boats. But I think probably the most danger we've ever been in on the show is just, in vehicles. Drive in Vietnam, Highway 1.
Oh, my God, everyone's Asian. Yeah. That's insane. That'd be my nightmare. I have a hard enough time driving through Queens. Please. Oh.
So why was that dangerous on Highway 1?
The apparently acceptable practice there is you're on a 2-lane highway. The shoulders are completely filled with people on bicycles, motorbikes, 6 people on a motorbike, with all of their stuff headed to market. There's no room to pull off the road, is what I'm saying. You got 2 lanes of traffic going in opposite directions. And then there's the line in the middle. Acceptable practice is to just pull into the middle line, straddle the line, tear ass down with no room to pull in on the side because it's bumper to bumper at high speed. And what you do is you just tear ass down the highway at full speed, banging the horn constantly. Problem is somebody coming in the opposite direction is doing exactly the same thing in a water truck. And they're coming straight at you. And just at the point that you're about to hit each other, both cars or one will just suddenly slide into traffic on the right or the left. And how this is achieved, I don't know.
I'll tell you, because that's my drive to the Midtown Tunnel every day. Cross town.
But, you're 60 miles an hour headed straight into another vehicle, and you do this 40, 50 times in the space of 2 hours. Eventually, at first, it's totally white-knuckle. You think, oh, my God, we're all going to die, and then eventually you just kind of get used to it. But
common practice, yeah.
Beeping there doesn't mean look out. It means I'm here, it's okay, I'm here, it's okay. It's when you stop beeping, there's some kind of communication going on there that I didn't really understand. But it was truly, that was terrifying. That's when I really thought we're cooked.
Wow.
Adventures. Yeah. Global adventures. I haven't done shit.
And where do you call home?
New York.
But you're never here.
A week,
how many days a year?
A week out of the month.
Week out of the month?
Yeah. On a good month. And I try to bring my family with me, if we're shooting someplace reasonable, like, Western Europe or someplace fun. And
you don't bring them to the Congo?
Yeah. Try to take a month vacation. Just started trying to take a month a year, and then... But of course, I travel a lot. My wife's a MMA psycho, and so
really,
that's right. Yeah.
We when I'm home, there's a lot of overnights to see a UFC event.
Who's her favorite?
Well, she likes John Jones, of course, who's riveting to watch. Anderson Silva. She trains at Renzo Gracie Academy, so any Gracie associated fighter is of course going to be somebody she's rooting for.
You got a wife that's MMA trained?
She's been she's a blue belt with a stripe, just got her stripe in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and she trains MMA and Muay Thai, boxing.
She like Ronda Rousey?
Yeah, very much. She's amazing, especially because Rousey's such a great, judo judo. But she competes, and we train 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, and she's not messing around. She'd like to do.
Damn.
She competes amateur, but I think someday she'd like to do one professional fight.
Could she kick your ass, really?
Oh yeah.
Could she really kick your ass?
If she gets inside my reach, I'm cooked. And at this point, look, she gets her hooks in you,
it's over.
You're done.
It's over.
If it goes to the ground,
you're
done. You're done. I mean, you would not be the first guy who blacks out.
Does she fuck with you every so often? Does she fuck with you and be like, hey,
there's none of that. That's it's like playing with a gun. That's not funny.
Wow, yeah.
At this point, with the Muay Thai, I'd have a real problem if she was super pissed.
Oh man.
And it's not like a hobby. It started out 5 years ago as a hobby. Now she's training to compete. And,
wow,
it's an obsession, and even injured. I mean, she fractured her collarbone. She's still at training. Pulled a hamstring. Breaks toes, goes in. It's it is a nice feeling though. And she's spoiling for a fight. She's looking to. She's looking to take someone out at a social situation.
Well, you should do what they do. Mouth off to someone in the movie theater. And watch her handle it.
I've explained that she's from Italy, and I've explained to her that liability laws here, and we're very litigious here. You can't just beat somebody up because they talk bad to you. So I'm waiting for the appropriate moment where some guy in a bar is, puts his hand on me, and, she's coming back from the ladies' room. He's really not going to want to tell his friends about what happens next. Right?
Wow. Anthony Bourdain? Yeah.
His wife choked me out.
Yeah.
And broke my arm.
Yeah, he'll be all beat up at work, and they'll ask what happened. Anthony Bourdain, wow, he beat up. No, his wife did.
Yeah. I'm guessing it would be a choke out situation.
Choke out?
Really good. Rear naked choke is pretty amazing.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That is.
Learned a little more about it today. Well, we got to move on here, Anthony.
Yep.
And we're actually ending the show with you.
Oh.
So we got a couple things. The Taste Tuesdays on ABC and Parts Unknown coming to CNN finally in April. I can't wait to see that.
And Archer coming up this week.
Archer, right. We're all big fans of yours, and we appreciate you stopping.
Absolutely.
Always fun, guys.
Thanks for coming
Anthony Bourdain, everyone.
Robin,